Hey guys, welcome back to Learning Lore with PlanetHead, a subsidiary of Flying in Space with PlanetHead. This should be the second episode, or, well, I shouldn't put a number on that because we're going to be doing it chronologically on the playlist. If you're interested in looking back at old videos of this, I'm trying to put each one of these in chronological order as far as the story goes within the lore. So I'm also trying not to beat around the bush and get straight to it. If you are interested, I am going through each one of the interesting lore spots on the main EVE Online page. Actually, let's just back up one. There we go. This is actually the second one that I'm doing. Um, it is 32-GI9. You're more than welcome to read any of these. There's just so many of them. I thought it might be easier for me to kind of go through them. And as I learn about the lore, I will kind of do a deep dive from what I know. So let's just jump in here. 32.9. So kind of the idea here is to just kind of read almost word for word that's here, but then as I'm going through, if I find something that's interesting, I'll let you know. I did read this page maybe a week ago, but I haven't read it since then. But I am interested in 32-GI9 because it is out in the region of Stain, which I spent a decent amount of time in earlier this year. So basically, let's go right down. 32 TAC, if you're using the correct form of EVE lingo, 32 TAC GI9 is a solar system in Stain, which is claimed by the Sanchez Nation. It is a dead-end system with only a single Stargate out. It is and is for the most part completely unremarkable. Why it has an article, we don't know. However, its fourth planet is inhabited by a small colony supposedly composed of true citizens. So that's interesting. So this first paragraph brings up a couple things. First off, 32 TAC GI9 being in Stain. So let's pull up Stain here real quick. Might as well pull this up here. Google. And then we'll go Dotland. And then we're going to go to Stain. If it goes a little faster. There we go. Oh, shoot, my picture's on the different side. There we go. Hey, Maya, how are you today? Maya went to the vet today. She's been very nice after since. She hears me talking. It's always the beginning thing. She hears me talk. She thinks I'm talking to people. Okay. You good? You good? Okay. Off you go. Off. Okay. So, if I don't look at her, she'll walk away. Yes. Okay. So, we're going to go into Stain. Check it out. There it is. Throw 32 TAC GI9. That is up here. Why do I know that? Because I read this a week ago. So like it said in the paragraph, this is a dead-end system. There's only one way in, one way out. It's also owned by the Sanchez Nation, which owns all of Stain, or is controlled by Stain. If you've never hung out in Stain, it is a very large NPC null 6 area. So it can't be owned by players, but a lot of players hang out in this area and have alliances out here and coalitions. A lot of these dead-end large areas here have that. One thing as a note, 32 TAC GI9, we're going to pull it up here. Notice there are no NPC stations. Also, very limited number of jumps. If you think about it, today is a Monday in real world, so we would be talking the last 48 hours would be Sunday and Saturday, which would be busy days. And you notice here the largest number of jumps in and out of here was only 6. So that is not a whole lot of movement. So yeah, kind of real quiet out here in Stain, owned by the Sanchez Nation. In game, might as well take a quick look. What kind of ships does Stain fly? Well, can't really figure that out, but what we can do is go. Ooh, I have unclaimed rewards. Look at the NPC ships that you can actually buy. Where is... This is my basic character, so I'm not used to the... There it is. Ships. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Ship tree. Come on. There we go. Then we can come over here. We can go through all of these. There's a Sanchez Nation. So if you ever wanted to own a Sanchez ship, there are 4 different ones: a frigate, a cruiser, a battleship, and a carrier. I did not know they had a carrier. The Revenant. Well, that's kind of cool looking. Now, these aren't the NPC ships that you will fight out in Stain. These are the NPC ships that you can possibly own. I'm betting this is a pretty expensive one. But yeah, this is the Revenant. So that is the Sanchez Nation. I'm sure at some point going through the lore we will dive deeper into them. But let's get back to 32 Tech GI9, this boring little system that they were talking about. There we go. This will have a nice picture up there. So the history of 32 Tech GI9. How many times can I say 32 Tech GI9 in this video? Well, 32 Tech GI9 was one of many solar systems explored during the heyday of the 51st Exploration Corps. The explorers found the system nearly completely unremarkable, with 5 barren planets, 3 gas giants, and a single ocean world, so for a total of 9 planets, and similar primitive temperate. A saying done upon terrestrial worlds showed little interest, so the Corps passed it on without even naming it. So it was never actually named back whenever it was first found. Kind of like my old hometown in Louisiana. Louisiana is one of my hometowns, but it was one place I lived when I was very small. Long story short, nothing remarkable when it was first flown through by the 51st Exploration Corps. I will tell you this, within the next 2 or 3 episodes of Learning the Lore, 51st Exploration Corps will be one of the videos I do. They have their own little articles, so we're not going to delve into them too much. They were just a group that was a corps that was basically figuring from, I think they were from the Amar Empire, if I'm not off the top of my head, maybe the Amar Navy or something like that, and basically they were traveling, scouting out areas. They're really well known as far as old lore, so a lot of the first maps were done by them. Back to the history here. It wasn't until centuries later that the system was visited again, when it was one of the many purchased by the Sancha. Oh, this is painful. I'm going to try to pronounce this. Let's pull it up here. It was purchased by Sancha Kuvaki to begin forming his nation. Sancha established several mining colonies on the barren moons in order to obtain materials for his fleet. The colonies were a minor but consistent source of material for a burgeoning nation. So, basically, this was originally bought, the barren planets. If you've ever mined anything, done any planetary interaction, normally barren planets are used for very basic materials, or to are used as that final planet to make you get all of your materials from all of the other planets and put them onto the barren planet, and it does the final raw material creation. I did that a long time ago when I used to make mobile tractor units. You had to have a barren planet to get, I think, to like level 4 of your minerals there. So in history, with all the barren planets here, it was a very steady production for Sancha, such and such name, whatever his name was, to have. So let's get back to the info here. When the four empires descended on Sintra Nation, so the four empires would be Amar, Galanti, Minmatar, and Kaldari. 32 TAC GI-9 served as a site of a major battle. Oh, okay. The debris from the battle, which was overwhelmingly won by the attackers, remains floating in space. Wreckage of several early Sanchez Nation ships litter the site. The colonies involved in the mining were bombarded, utterly wiped out from the surfaces. So basically, in history, the planets that were giving these minerals to Sancha, the colonies that were there were completely wiped out. But if you travel to 332 TAC GI9, if anybody wants to, there's probably some sort of monument or spot you can fly to where you can see these pieces destroyed. This kind of goes along with why I'm doing some of these lore videos, is that a lot of times you fly around in these systems and you see these monuments or things that you can fly to, but you don't know why they're there or you don't have the full story. So this might be one of them. Obviously, by the whole 6 people that flew through each hour the other day, maybe this isn't the biggest Niagara Falls to go see, but it is something that's out there. Back to the history of it. However, the solitary colony on the temperate planet, consisting primarily of scientists and philosophers, was left unscathed. Interesting. So the barren planets got wiped out, but the temperate planet was left. In the aftermath of the nation's destruction, the majority of these loyalists either fled or died off, leaving the colony a ghost colony. However, when capsuleers ventured through the system decades later, scans of the planet revealed a few thousand inhabitants, though the attempts to contact them went unanswered. Kind of cool, kind of story-ish. So, that is the history of 32 TAC GI9. The last paragraph here talks about the corporate notoriety. The colony of 32 TAC GI9. I should have a little ticker here. You know, some of those videos where they have a ticker of how many times you say 32 TAC GI9. I'm sorry. The colony on 32 TAC GI9, Planet 4, gained some small measure of notoriety in corporate security circles following the theft of some research from an outpost by a scientist named, well, this is painful. Here we go again. I'm going to show it to you. Zagil, in a system a few jumps away. After investigation, corporate security discovered that the outpost overseer, Kartanen Sadaya, hope I'm pronouncing that right, had been saving money to purchase a home in 32 TAC GI9. Years later, Sadaya's prior outpost had been attacked and overrun by Sanchez Nation. The two events were deemed unlikely with punishment. So I'm sure there is stories here to go along that I'll be getting to. And I'll be referring back to this probably. Looks like there is a chronicle here, a story going along with that. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper into the story, the lore of that, you can. It's called the Chronicle, the Desert Fathers Chronicle. All the chronicles are up here on the EVE main page. You can click on Chronicles. I actually haven't read them, but again, this will help me to get a little bit more interested in things. If you notice, there are a ton of these. Look at all these here. So, and looks like they originally started making them when the game first came out to give a little bit of a back history. And then looks like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 or 7 years ago, they really slowed down on them. But there are a few out that have been somewhat recent. Let's just look at, this was back in so this was 2018. It was the last one that was made with Mythos Gate and Omega. But if you want to read through these, you can. They're right there. Yeah. So that is the story of 32 TAC GI9. I promise that's going to be the last time I say it, hopefully. But I will need to look up the date. There were no real dates there. That's interesting. So I'll throw this onto the playlist as the second video. But if I find out that this actually, I think this happened before YC0, but we're going to find out. Maybe not. So I'll put that on the playlist. That's about it for 32 Tech GI9. I said it again. I am so sorry. I will throw this on the playlist, hopefully once a week or twice a week. I'll just keep these up and running. This is actually slowly interesting me. It's going to be a slow growth, and then I'll be able to start tying a few things together. So that'll be kind of fun. But that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great day. Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly higher like you want. Go birds. Alrighty, have a good one. See you later. Bye-bye.